It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Welcome back to another Positive Tuesday. Today it's a little more personal. I didn't think about doing this. It came to me, so I figured I'd talk about it. With everything going on in the world and stuff, anxiety. I'm going to talk about anxiety and some of the things I do to combat anxiety. So my first dealing with anxiety was in school. I used to get knots in my stomach when I'd have to disappoint my parents with my horrible report cards. That was the first dealing of it. Second was in high school. The 4 years on and off with my ex-fiance. It was then I started to work on ways to combat anger issues. They run in the male side of the family. They run in the family. But I didn't realize that doing that, I was also dealing with the anxiety, because you can do the same thing. So I would meditate, work out, just keep active. And then I joined the military. That also helped staying active through boot camp and AIT. I got anxiety about going to work. I used to be a butt. We used to butt heads, me and Chelsea. She would be. She's gone through stuff in her life. She knows she knows how important mental health is, and I used to think that talking to therapists and all that stuff was just silly. Again, men don't talk about their feelings. I'm not supposed to be having this conversation. So with anxiety for work, it was bad because I'm supposed to provide for my family. But every time I would go, I'd get excited about getting a new job, and then I'd be there for a little bit, and then I'd get, knots in my stomach going to work. And it's because I was afraid of, what am I going to say to everybody else around me? How am I screw this job up? Because I usually screw up everything. And then how am I going to go home to my, my wife and children and tell them, I can't do this. It was really hard, and it just kept building. And then we moved here. 30-year-old man who's never lived away from his parents and family. All my family, close families in New York. So that piled on top of that. It just so much stuff. And then I started watching Gary Vee talk about, take your losses. They're more important than your wins. They will teach you. So, and then, I was watching motivational stuff and started my YouTube channel and having conversations, even if it's just like one person watching. It feels really good to say stuff out loud. I just, should have talked more, should have talked sooner. But it's okay. And at any point in your life is okay. I have a saying. It is, better late than never. That's a saying. Somebody came up with a long time ago, but it makes sense to me. It doesn't matter where in your life you change, as long as you change, but fits with my actual saying. Love yourself, or change yourself so you can love yourself, or change yourself to love yourself. So, getting all this, and I started getting traction. I hit the corner about last year. I decided that I'm going to make this my home, and I'm going to be happy. And I started it, and you can see in my YouTube videos, moving forward from then, I started chatting more. I had more to say. Now I'm moving my hands. I'm not worried about, everybody in the house hearing me record a video. I'm not worried about what you guys think. And then I got a job. I went in there with confidence, no hesitation. I went in there to be an associate, and I ended up being an assistant manager. That didn't work, but I've learned that life always throws at me what I can take. So that being said, I got a better job and Goodwill as a team lead, which is almost the same thing as assistant manager. Almost, not quite. I love that job. I lost that job. I've also learned that, I can stand up for myself. I will find another job. I got this. But with anxiety, it sucks. The struggle is real. Some of the things I do it's silly to some people. I wake up and look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I'm awesome. I could do this. I got this. I repeat that until I believed it. I will make this place my home. I will make wherever I'm at my home. My heart will be happy. I got this. I'm going to do this. God will not put anything in my life that I cannot handle. Got this. Used to be hesitant about saying I was a Power Ranger fan because that's for children or anime or any of this stuff. But now I am doing all this stuff with my daughter and my son. Now I picked hobbies that I enjoy with each of the children. Horror movies with the oldest, anime with my daughter, and Logan, it is wrestling. I don't care who knows. I've also come to realization that those who judge usually have a crappier life than you, and they're struggling. I've come to not judge other people. I have no room to talk. I'm just going to keep focused on me and my children and my future and doing, my best. Give everything I got, do everything I do. And if I fall, I will pick myself up. I'll breathe in, breathe out, and I'll look at why I failed. And then I will fix that and move on. It also helps that my watch reminds me to breathe every once in a while. It is a pain in the butt if I sit too long. It'll keep telling me to stand up. I do like it. I do breathing exercises. Walks help. Talking helps. I've now come to the conclusion that therapists are a good thing. They are people who hear you. Then they look everything over, and they will have you keep talking to them until they can pinpoint what is the cause of your distress, and then they will talk about that. But the whole point is to open up a talk, because the more you talk about it, the more you overcome it, the less real and impact power it has over you. The more you just keep chatting about it, the more you keep hearing from somebody else that you're not alone, that this doesn't make you weird, that that's okay. And you need that. But outside of somebody else, you need to tell yourself that too. I have conversations all the time with thinking in my head. I will go off on a tangent and think the worst. It's just human nature. But I have a voice in my head that goes, okay, at this point, stop. Now you're overreacting. Now let's take it back and look at things how they really are. So, yes, he's a voice in my head, my conscience. I've been a loner pretty much my whole entire life. I have no problem. So I created this. I think it was like 8. The furthest back I remember. But it helps me keep me on track. And I think that's the biggest problem with all this stuff that's going on in your head and stuff, is that you can't keep yourself in check, and that you gotta learn to do that. Learn to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're okay. That's normal. This is fine. We can work on this. Look it up. Fixes. Don't look up causes. You get sucked in a rabbit hole and think you have a tumor, and you don't, or some silliness because the internet just loves to suck you in. But look up ways to deal with it. There are plenty of people. You could talk to a minister, a priest. You can talk to a psychologist. You could. Every time I go in, for stomach pains with the doctor, I talk to my doctor about it. Like, you can talk to somebody. Yeah, or wait, you can talk to me. I'll talk to you. I'm an open book. So, and I'm gonna start doing other stuff. I'm gonna start walking and working out. I'm gonna start writing a novel. Well, I was thinking about it. I was really excited about writing a horror story. And I was thinking about, Stephen King type. And I was like, maybe with all the ideas in my head, if I do horror short stories, I think that would be cooler. Yeah. So, yeah, the number one thing that I do is tell myself that it'll be okay. With that being said, much love. JD out.